Look at that, eh? Look at that. Hello, I'm Marcus Bronzy. This is How to Kill an Hour. Time for another episode of What's in the Box? The show where we find a tech product, get in the box, and use it in a real life situation. Today, we have got our hands on the Philips Iris White and Color Ambience. Now, this is a light which is designed specifically, as Philips say actually, it is designed for you to read, concentrate, and energize too. Also can create light recipes, which is where you use different flavors, see what I did? Flavors, recipes, to kind of have your lights interact with each other. Now, at the How to Kill an Hour studios, we use Philips Hue lights. Here's a quick example of what we have set up in here. We've got some color lighting. We've actually got some studio lighting, so it might look a little less, you know, extra, but we've got some studio lights in here. We've got some LED strips, and we can pretty much have the studio whatever color we want. And because I'm exciting when I do these videos, I have them on bright white. In terms of the brightness and the colors that they can feed out to you, you can have 200K to 6500K, where basically, long story short, means it can be very yellowy and also very like fresh and blue. So fresh and blue is probably what people have in their bathrooms. Yellowy ambient light is what's nice when you're trying to relax in the evenings. And you can see the color scale it goes through as well. Everything from red, orange, yellow, green, blueies, purples, and some hot pinks too. Now, the purpose of this light, now Philips are very good at kind of showing you in pictures what you can use this light for. So for example, we have somebody using the app, but below we can see some people enjoying themselves with the ambient splashes and colors of light. It also shows you on the box as well other ways people are using it. So pointing at a wall looks like that works really well. Probably on a white wall. This black wall, it may not show as much, but on a white wall, it's really, really good for kind of pushing washes up, Philips say. So there you go, that's it. Up on a wall, different colors, and again, more people just enjoying themselves. Look, if you get one of these lights, you too could Netflix and chill like them. In terms of compatibility, it's Bluetooth, Zigbee, works directly through the app without, I believe it fits Bluetooth. Ask me in the comments and I'll confirm this. You do not need to have the Philips hub plugged in, which is basically the brains of a whole Philips smart lighting system. And it should just be as simple as unplug it, plug it in, and get it going. What we'll do is we'll unbox it here in the studio today, and if necessary, we'll plug this in a home environment and see what kind of lovely light washes we get. I will say this with Philips lights, I'm a sucker for keeping the boxes for these because, don't know if it's, or at least keeping the instructions for these, because what they have, I don't think they have them now. What they used to have were little codes on them. I don't think this has it. So what I'm about to say is irrelevant, but if you've got some older Philips lights, they had these little codes on them, and once when I was trying to connect my lights, it couldn't find them. I kept the little sticker, a little silver sticker, which had there it is. I'll cover it up a little bit and show you. Basically, that QR code and that number, if I'm right, if this is the right sticker, helps you connect up to your system if you need to. There we go. Nice. It's got the usual Philips setup. I don't know if Philips do this yet. I need to get in contact with them, but I really would like, now that I've got a few Philips lights, I'd really like I've got a few of these plugs which has got 3 on them. If it's safe and possible, I'd love a plug with like 7 of these on them, because I feel like the more smart plugs that I have, the more smart lights that I have, the more I'm gonna have to kind of plug them in. And I'd rather have like one hub. You know, like in your house, you used to need one USB socket, and now like I have like 7. I have like a hub under this desk which has got like 7 USB leads plugged into it, because I just need loads of different USBs, and it's kind of getting like that everywhere. So maybe if they could do that safely with the amount of energy, it's low, LEDs, low energy, they can do that, like something like a plug like this, but have like loads of different, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 plugs for Philips Hue. That'd be great. So you've got the European plug here, switching it out for UK. I like that. Nice bit of sturdy UK. Chuck that in there. Ush. Here is the light itself. Look at that. I mean, before I turn it on, That looks pretty classy, doesn't it? Like a bit of art that you have in your house, isn't it? Oh, and there's another, this is it. On the bottom of it is this serial number. If you're struggling to connect your device, I believe this serial number helps you, and this QR code helps you connect. Right, so the trick is, get this, plug it in, find a plug to plug this into. There we go, plugged in. Then we get on the Philips Hue app, just like that, add a light. You can use the serial number like I just mentioned on the back, or you can just search. Let's see if we get one. And whilst I'm doing this, whatever you do, we found a light, try not to lose that serial number. There we go, Hue Iris 1 is what we'll call it. It can be a traditional lamp, a desk lamp, or a table wash. Let's call it a table wash. Or you can call it a Christmas tree. Philips have got some Christmas tree lights, which I should have got my hands on, but we just didn't have time. And I believe, if I'm honest, I think Hue had sold out by the time we tried to get our hands on him. So let's turn off these lights here and let's see what we've got. Look at that, eh? Look at that. So here he is, it is brightest, and I believe it is nice for a wash against the wall. Again, it would work better on a darker wall, but even that, it looks quite nice. It looks like a piece of art in your house, doesn't it? It looks quite nice. And you can set this up so it works with your other lights as well. So I can chuck this into for example, the studio setup. Let's add it into the studio. In the app, I'm going to drag it into the studio. It's now part of the studio. So, and I can also drag it into a zone in the studio. Ceiling, start, centuries. Oh, let's have it with the same. Oh, let's give it its own. Let's give it its own zone, shall we? Success, our lights are there. So now, if I do start to mess around with the lights in here, if I do mess with the whole studio lighting setup, let's see what happens if we get some matching lights. Okay. All right, so this is now part of our studio setup now. So this is when we have blue lights set up in here. It's more of an orangey setup as well. So now now it's basically integrated with the system. So I've set it so that whatever lighting setup I have in here, whether it's bright and orange or red or dark, the Iris works with them. I must say it's a very bright light. It's great for adding, I think this would be great for adding a wash against the wall. I don't know if you see the table there. I think it adds a really nice wash. See the extra light adds there. So I think this is something maybe that'd be good to use in a house environment if you want to add some ambiance, like they say on the box, to a room, or maybe for a streamer and you want like some light behind you to give you some light behind you to wash up against the wall. You can do that. Again, we've got black walls here which are designed to basically absorb all of the light, but you can have a nice wash if you've got a white wall, I think, or a lighter coloured wall. So there you go, I'm Marcus Bronzy. This has been the Hue Iris. I may add a little bit extra onto the end of this video where I take this into a stream environment or a house environment so you can actually see what it's like washing up against a white wall, because I think it'd be really nice to show you that. So here we are. This is a setup which is what you would call basic lighting. This is smart lighting, which means I can adjust it, but it's set like you would have lights if they're just turned on. And I've got the wall, the Iris behind me facing against the wall, and I want to show you how we can use this to make a much nicer lighting environment, not just in a controlled studio, but in more of a normal room environment, which is what this is like. So first, I guess I'll start by popping the wall wash on, which is what I'm calling it, the Iris. That's it there. You can see it's really bright there. So as I bring up the light, you see at the moment, it's fair to say that it doesn't really make that much difference because it's just a big bright white light. But if we're to do something like, for example, turn on two lights that I have from my computer, two little strip lights that are quite soft just to lighten up my face, right? Or even better, actually have a really cheap ring light, which I can show you, which is like £3. But if I was to bring the light down, these big bright lights down, right? You again can see that there isn't really much difference with regards to this and the Iris behind me. But once you start adding color into it, then things start to get quite interesting. So let's select, let's go for a blue, shall we? Purpley blue. Now you see how things get quite interesting. Maybe we'll drop that color down a little bit in terms of its intensity. Now you can really see how we've gone from an environment that's quite standard, for want of a better set of words, to something that is quite nice. And again, we can bounce back off those. And I'll tell you what, just to show you, I'll turn these ones off that are here. Maybe turn these ones that are above my head on, just in case some people are like, well, I haven't got fill lights, Marcus. But even that, I would say, adds a bit more texture to the background than if we weren't to have that, for example. So we'll go back to basic again, which is, I've just got, to be fair, I've got some shortcuts programmed onto a Philips remote, which I'm about to send. So we've got everything on. And maybe let's try with that wall wash off. So this is how I started out, just kind of looking like this. And then we'll go from standard studio, and then we'll go to, this is what I look like when I stream. And obviously my camera's made some adjustments to make sure that my face is properly exposed, but this is an example of just how you can use the wall wash to really add some nice vibes to it. I mean, and color wise, I mean, it depends, you know, you can go a bit more yellow. I know a red works quite well for some people. And then probably my favorite are the purpley blues. So you can really use these to set up an environment where you have some great washes of color around the place. And if I was to, for example, move it slightly and put it on the floor, you probably get a nice, in fact, let me do that. Let me just do that now. Let me move it slightly and we'll get a wash up against the curtains. Kind of see how it adds, you can see how it adds just a little bit of color behind you, you know, which is very, very interesting, very, very interesting. And you know, you can use it in that situation. So anyway, I've been Marcus Bronzy. This has been How to Kill an Hour. I hope you've enjoyed this this experience of the Iris. Probably one of the cooler lights, I'd say, in the Hue range that has come out. You can find a link for it in the description below. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you around. Peace.